Welcome to part 2 of our series on compulsive behaviors. If you missed the first video, we defined compulsions from a mental health perspective, considered their global prevalence, and detailed some common compulsive disorders such as OCD, health anxiety, and body-focused compulsions like hair pulling. We also discussed some ways these behaviors can develop. To review, over time, living with compulsive behavior can feel like being trapped in a repetitive cycle of seeking comfort or ease, finding it temporarily by doing the behavior, but then often feeling guilty or ashamed, and thus the relief doesn't last. For those struggling with compulsions, it's often a constant battle between what they know they should do and what their mind compels them to do. It's a feeling of being held captive by their own thoughts, unable to escape the relentless urge to engage in certain behaviors, even when they know they're irrational or harmful. These behaviors can also be very time-consuming and exhausting. But today, we are going to discuss some ways to liberate yourself from some of these distressing behaviors. Hi, and welcome to The Inspired Therapist, where we blend science, a little mysticism, and psychology to encourage you to optimize your mental health. I'm Mary Gaskill, licensed counselor in private practice, and I appreciate you being here. One would think that getting rid of or controlling the persistent thoughts we have would be the primary way to combat conditions such as OCD. If we could stop the thoughts, then the behavior will cease. But if people with conditions like OCD could just stop their obsessive thoughts, don't you think they would? So we have to go about it a little differently and actually help ourselves resist by engaging in the compulsive or checking behaviors. Exposure and response prevention, or ERP therapy, is a widely used and highly effective treatment for compulsive behaviors, particularly for conditions like OCD. Here's some specific examples of ERP techniques and alternative strategies you can use to overcome compulsive behaviors. It begins with gradual exposure. Start by identifying the places, circumstances, or situations that most likely activate your desire to engage in compulsions. Make a list of these, such as you might notice that you tend to pull your eyelashes when you're bored and watching TV, or when you're really stressed and doing homework at the library. Then your awareness of these situations already begins to give you your power back. You can decide to switch up these environments, such as studying in a different location or studying with a friend so they can help you be more mindful of the behavior. You can also incorporate things to keep your hands busy, such as using a stress ball or twirling with yarn or a fidget toy, and periodically asking yourself, where are my hands? Usually we will feel a cycle of tension or stress and the desire to engage in the behavior as a way to soothe ourselves or feel better. But sometimes we don't even know we are doing the behavior, especially if it's been going on for a long time. Then you can begin exposing yourself back to the situations or triggers that typically lead to the compulsive behavior. For example, if you have a fear of germs leading to compulsive hand washing, gradually expose yourself to mildly dirty surfaces and resist the urge to wash your hands immediately. As you create your list of activating situations, you can also create an exposure hierarchy. Create a hierarchy of situations or stimuli related to your compulsive behavior, ranging from least to most anxiety-provoking. Gradually expose yourself to each level by practicing response prevention. Ask yourself, what specific situations or triggers cause the most anxiety, and how can I gradually confront them? Another technique is response prevention. As you identify the trigger, intentionally resist the urge to engage in the compulsive behavior. Instead, sit with the discomfort or anxiety until it naturally decreases. When you feel the urge to engage in the behavior, ask yourself, what would happen if I allowed myself to experience this discomfort without giving in to the compulsion? Each time you allow yourself to be mindful of the uncomfortable emotion and maybe do something else, like drink a glass of cold water, call a friend, write down what you're feeling, hum a song, and resist the behavior a few minutes, that is success. By incorporating these exposure and response prevention techniques and alternative strategies into your daily routine, you can develop healthier coping mechanisms and gradually overcome compulsive behaviors. Remember to be patient with yourself. Don't shame yourself if you engage in the behavior, because this is not easy, and seek professional guidance if needed, as well as seek natural supports through your friends or family and ask them to be a part of you beating this behavior. For some individuals, medication may be a helpful adjunct to therapy and these techniques in managing compulsive behaviors. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, for example, have been shown to effectively reduce the symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder by increasing serotonin levels in the brain. However, it's important to work closely with a healthcare professional to find the right medication and dosage for your specific needs. As you know, on this channel, we also consider alternative approaches to psychological disturbances or troubles. Gary Zukav, John Kabat-Zinn, and Carolyn Mace offer unique perspectives on the reasons for compulsive behaviors and techniques to overcome them. Gary Zukav, a spiritual teacher and author of The Seat of the Soul, often emphasizes the importance of understanding the underlying emotions driving compulsive behaviors. He suggests that compulsions arise from unmet emotional needs and unresolved trauma. Zukav encourages individuals to explore their emotions with curiosity and compassion, rather than judgment or suppression. One technique inspired by Zukav's teachings is emotional journaling. Keep a journal where you can freely express your emotions without censorship. Write about what triggers your compulsive behaviors, how you feel before, during, and after engaging in them, and any insights or patterns you notice. This practice can help you develop self-awareness and identify underlying emotional triggers. John Kabat-Zinn, a mindfulness teacher and founder of the mindfulness-based stress reduction program, believes that compulsive behaviors often stem from a disconnection from the present moment. He emphasizes the importance of cultivating mindfulness and using somatic techniques to develop greater awareness and acceptance of our thoughts, emotions, and sensations. One technique inspired by Kabat-Zinn's teachings is mindful awareness practice. When you feel the urge to engage in a compulsive behavior, pause and bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of each inhale and exhale without judgment. Observe any thoughts or emotions that arise without getting caught up in them. By practicing these techniques, you can create space between the urge and the action, allowing you to respond skillfully rather than react impulsively. Carolyn Mace, a medical intuitive and author of Anatomy of the Spirit, explores the connection between spiritual and psychological factors underlying compulsive behaviors. She suggests that these behaviors may reflect imbalances in our energy system or disruptions in our spiritual journey. One technique inspired by Mace's teachings is energy clearing meditation. Sit in a comfortable position and visualize a bright, healing light surrounding your body. As you breathe deeply, imagine this light penetrating every cell, releasing stagnant energy and emotional blockages. With each exhale, visualize any compulsive tendencies and negative patterns being dissolved and transformed into light. This meditation can release energetic imbalances and create inner peace and alignment. These techniques again offer holistic approaches to overcoming compulsive behaviors, addressing the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of our experience. And in some ways, they're not that different from the science-based techniques that are encouraged. Do what resonates with you. By integrating these practices into your daily life, you can develop greater self-awareness and a commitment to your own healing. Thank you for watching The Inspired Therapist. If this content was helpful to you, please share it with someone you love to help them on their way toward thriving in spite of their struggles.